A 68-year-old retired nurse from Ohio paid $240 in baggage fees last year that she didn't owe. A 72-year-old veteran stood in a security line for 50 minutes when he could have walked straight through, and a retired couple from Florida missed priority boarding on 3 separate flights they qualified for, simply because no one told them the option existed. These aren't rare stories. They happen every single day at every major airport in America, and today that stops for you. Here's the uncomfortable truth about flying after 60. The perks exist. The policies are written down. Some of them are federally protected, but airlines board over 800 million passengers a year, and a service announced is a service that costs money. So they stay quiet, load your bag onto the belt, smile at the counter, and quietly hope you never ask the right questions. I've spent years studying airline policy documents, passenger rights filings, and traveler complaints, and what I found isn't complicated, it's just buried. 11 free perks already built into the ticket you bought, available to travelers our age, and almost nobody requests them. Today, I'm walking you through every single one, including the exact words to say to claim each one at the airport. And perk number 1 involves a federal job title that most gate agents genuinely hope you never learn. Let's go. Perk number 11. The gate pass your family never thought to ask for. Let me start with the one that surprises people most. And honestly, it surprised me too. Your son, your daughter, your neighbor who drove you to the airport at 5 in the morning, none of them need a ticket to walk you to your gate. Most major U.S. airlines will print a free companion escort pass right at the staffed check-in counter. It goes through security like a boarding pass. Your family member walks with you through the terminal, sits with you at the gate, and stays until you board. No more saying goodbye at the curb. No more navigating a crowded terminal alone, wondering if you're at the right gate. No more family members standing at the drop-off lane, hoping you made your connection. A daughter helped her mother check in at Chicago O'Hare last spring. The agent printed a pass in under 2 minutes. She walked her mother to the gate, bought her a coffee, and waved goodbye as she boarded. 30 years of flying together. Nobody ever mentioned this was possible. Go to the staffed counter, not the kiosk. Bring your companion's government ID, magic phrase. I'd like to request an escort pass so my daughter can walk me to the gate. Perk number 10. Free wheelchair. Assistance even if you walk perfectly fine. Let me be very clear about something up front, because this is the perk people feel most awkward claiming. Wheelchair assistance is not exclusively for people who cannot walk. If you're 60 or older and have any physical consideration at all, tired legs, a terminal that stretches half a mile between gates, bags that are heavier than comfortable to manage alone, you qualify, and it is federally mandated. Airlines cannot say no. That's not a suggestion. That's the law. Here's what most people don't realize. Airports were designed around the assumption that every passenger was 34 years old and moving fast. The average major U.S. terminal walk from check-in to gate is somewhere between a quarter mile and a full mile. That's not a stroll. That's a hike. With luggage. On a Monday morning before coffee, when you request wheelchair assistance, a staff member meets you at the curb or check-in. They escort you through security, often through a shorter line. They transport you directly to your gate, help with your carry-on, and get you onto the plane before general boarding begins. Your travel companion comes with you the entire way. And here's the part I genuinely love telling people. You can request this for only one direction of your trip. Feeling energetic on the return flight? Only use it outbound. Completely your call. Request it when you book. Reconfirm 48 hours before departure. Magic phrase. I'd like to request senior mobility assistance from check-in to my gate. They will find someone. They are required to. Perk number 9. The TSA senior exception that saves you 20 minutes. All right, this one is specifically for travelers who are 75 and older. And if you're in that group and you've been dutifully taking your shoes off at security for the past decade. I have some news for you that is going to feel like a small personal victory. You don't have to. TSA provides automatic, modified screening for passengers 75 and older. No application, no background check, no $80 enrollment fee. It's built into the system already. You can keep your shoes on. You can keep your light jacket on. You go through the standard screening process with several pre-check style accommodations already applied. Now here's the part TSA definitely does not advertise. If you're 75 or older and the line is long, mentioning your age to a TSA officer before you reach the checkpoint gives them the information they need to assist you appropriately. They can't guess your age. They won't ask unprompted. But when you tell them, the process shifts. A 76-year-old from Denver spent 22 minutes in secondary screening last winter because no one on either side of the conversation mentioned his age. He didn't know it mattered. The officer didn't know to ask. He missed his connection by 4 minutes. Don't be that story. For travelers under 75, TSA also has a free assistance line called TSA Cares. The number is 1-855-787-2227. Call at least 72 hours before your flight, and they will arrange personalized support through the checkpoint. No fee, no membership, just a phone call. The magic phrase at the checkpoint, I'm 76 years old. I understand I qualify for modified senior screening. Say it before you start unloading your bag. The conversation goes a completely different direction. Perk number 8. Senior airfares, hidden behind one phone call. Here is the travel myth I want to permanently retire. Booking online guarantees you the lowest available fare. It doesn't, especially if you're over 65, and especially if you book without ever speaking to a human being. Here's what's actually happening when you search on a comparison site. The system doesn't know your age. It pulls standard published fares and displays them in order of price. Senior fare codes exist in the airline's reservation system, but the comparison engine doesn't filter for them because you never identified yourself as a senior passenger. So it shows you the regular fare, you book it, and the airline quietly keeps the senior rate sitting in a database you never accessed. A retired teacher from Boston booked a flight to Miami last year through a major comparison site for $340. 2 days later, on a friend's suggestion, she called the airline directly, mentioned she was 67, and was quoted $287 for the exact same flight. Same seat, same date, same everything. $53 saved with one phone call that took 4 minutes. United Airlines has a passenger type menu on their website. Almost nobody touches it. Select 65 plus as your passenger type when searching, and senior fares appear on the routes that carry them. On other carriers, the codes exist, but only reservations agents can pull them. Delta, American, and several international carriers, including Air India, which offers passengers 60 and older an additional 10-kilogram baggage allowance on international flights, maintain senior pricing that simply isn't visible through standard online booking. Do not ask, do you have a senior discount? That question gets a vague answer. Instead, say this, is there a senior fare filed on this route that isn't showing online? That specific language goes into the system differently. Write that phrase down. Put it on a sticky note on your computer. It is worth real money. Perk number 7. Free special meals, served before everyone else. This one genuinely makes me a little irritated on behalf of every senior traveler who has ever eaten a dry mystery meal at 35,000 feet when they didn't have to. On full-service international flights, airlines load complimentary special meals, low sodium, diabetic-friendly, gluten-free, heart-healthy. These meals cost you nothing extra. They're available to any passenger who requests them in advance. And here's the part that sounds almost too good to be true, but is completely accurate. Special meals come off the cart first. You eat 20 minutes before anyone else on the plane. For travelers managing blood pressure, blood sugar, or heart health, this isn't just a comfort upgrade. It's a meaningful difference in how you feel when you land. You order through the Manage My Booking section of the airline's website at least 24 hours before departure. If the website won't display meal options, one phone call to the airline handles it in minutes. Then confirm at the gate that your meal made it onto the load sheet, because occasionally they miss it and you want to know before you're at altitude with no backup plan. The magic phrase when calling, "I'd like to add a special meal request to my booking. Can you tell me which options are available for my route?" Then pick the one that fits your health needs. It is already paid for. You just have to ask. Perk number 6. Pre-boarding is a sentence, not a status. I spent more years than I want to admit believing that pre-boarding required documentation, a wheelchair, a medical form, some kind of official permission from someone wearing a lanyard. It does not. Under federal disability rules, any passenger who needs extra time or assistance boarding simply tells the gate agent and they board before general boarding begins. No doctor's note, no diagnosis, no explanation beyond the basic request. You self-identify. That is the entire process, and your travel companion boards with you. If you have ever watched First Class Board, then families with small children, then Zone 1, then Zone 2, then stood there in Zone 4 with your knees aching, wondering why you're still waiting while the overhead bins fill up around you, this is the perk that changes that experience permanently. Here is what's important to understand about the timing. You tell the gate agent before boarding. Announcements start, not during. Once they've called Zone 1, the window gets complicated. You want to approach the desk during the quiet period after the gate opens and before the first boarding call. That 5 to 10 minute window is yours. The magic phrase. Simple as I've ever heard one. I need a little extra time to board. I'd like to pre-board, please. That sentence gets you on the plane first, every time, without drama, without documentation, and without a single person asking you to prove anything. Perk number 5. The baggage fee loophole. Seniors keep paying around. Airlines collected over $6 billion in baggage fees in a single recent year. $6 billion. And a meaningful portion of that came from senior travelers who were carrying items that were supposed to fly free. Here is what the fine print says and what almost nobody reads. Medical equipment does not count towards your baggage allowance. CPAP machines, portable oxygen concentrators, insulin cooling bags, mobility aids, walkers, canes, and wheelchairs all fly free on major U.S. carriers. They cannot legally charge you for medically necessary equipment. The definition of medically necessary is broader than most travelers assume. A 70-year-old flying from Atlanta to Seattle packed his CPAP machine as his personal item and was told at the gate that his bag was oversized. The agent started the fee process. He said 5 words. These are medically necessary items. The agent checked the system, confirmed the policy, and waved him through. $0. For military veterans who are also senior travelers, most major airlines waive baggage fees entirely. You need to add your veteran status to your frequent flyer profile or mention it at check-in. Don't assume the system already knows. Tell them. And here is the insider move that almost nobody uses. If you're traveling with prescription medications, medical supplies, or any health-related equipment, mention it when you check your bags. Gate agents have discretion. Many will waive fees for items with a clear medical purpose, even when a formal policy doesn't explicitly cover your specific situation. The magic phrase at check-in, I'm traveling with medical equipment and prescription medications. Can you confirm those won't be charged as additional baggage? Ask it calmly. Ask it every time. The fees you don't pay because you asked are real money. Perk number 4. Free gate check on full flights. This one is short and I love it because it requires almost zero effort and it solves one of the most physically uncomfortable parts of flying after 60. Planes are fuller than they have been since 1980. Overhead bins run out on almost every domestic flight. When they do, gate agents need volunteers to check carry-on bags at the door. Free of charge, tagged to your final destination, no bag fee, no lifting a rolling suitcase over your head into a bin that's already too full. No twisting your shoulder at an awkward angle while 30 people behind you wait. I gate check voluntarily now on full flights, on purpose. I hand my bag to the agent at the door, walk onto the plane with nothing but my personal item, sit down comfortably, and my bag is waiting for me at baggage claim when I land. I do not miss the overhead bin struggle even slightly. You don't have to wait for the announcement. Ask the gate agent before boarding. Begins whether the flight is expected to be full and whether they're accepting early gate checks. Confirm the tag reads your final destination, not your connection city. Keep your medications and valuables in your personal item, not your carry-on, and let the airline do the lifting. Perk number 3, the 30-minute upgrade window. Here is something happening behind the gate counter that most passengers never see and airlines definitely never explain. In the 30 minutes before boarding begins, the seating chart shifts one final time. Passengers cancel at the last minute. Business travelers miss connections. Seats in premium economy and extra legroom sections that were blocked suddenly open, and in that window, gate agents have discretion. They can move passengers, and the travelers who get moved are almost never the ones who demanded it. A 68-year-old retiree was sitting in a middle seat in row 37 on a 4-hour flight. 25 minutes before boarding, she walked to the gate desk. She was calm. She was polite. She smiled. She said, "I'm a senior traveler. Are there any seat upgrades or extra legroom seats that have opened up?" The agent typed for about 10 seconds and moved her to an aisle seat in row 11 with extra legroom, no charge. The psychology here matters. Gate agents deal with entitled, frustrated, demanding passengers from the moment the gate opens. A calm senior traveler with a legitimate comfort concern and a pleasant attitude fits the exact profile of someone they actually want to help. You're not asking for something unreasonable. You're asking for something that's already sitting empty. Arrive at the gate 45 minutes before boarding. Wait until the 20 to 30 minute window before the first boarding call. Approach the desk when it's not crowded and say this: "I'm a senior traveler. Are there any seat upgrades or extra legroom seats available?" Mention a specific comfort need if you have one, a long flight, a knee that needs the aisle, a back that does better with extra space. Be honest, be brief, be kind. The worst they say is no. And honestly, in my experience, that's not usually what they say. Perk number 2, delay compensation. Nobody hands you. This one costs senior travelers hundreds of dollars every year, not because the money isn't available, because nobody walks up and offers it. Here is what is written down in black and white on a federal government dashboard that anyone can read. Every major U.S. airline has committed in writing to providing meal vouchers after a controllable delay of 3 hours or more, hotel accommodations, and transportation for overnight delays caused by the airline. And since late 2024, federal rules now require automatic cash refunds, not travel vouchers, when a flight is canceled or significantly changed and you choose not to rebook. A retired couple's flight from Phoenix to Boston was delayed 5 hours due to a mechanical issue. They sat at the gate. They bought $40 worth of airport food. The flight was eventually canceled. They paid $180 for a hotel. Nobody at the gate offered them anything. They had no idea they were entitled to full compensation for every dollar of that. The word that unlocks everything is controllable. When you approach the desk during a delay, ask whether the delay is controllable. Mechanical issues, crew problems, scheduling issues, maintenance, these are controllable. Weather is not, though it's always worth asking anyway because airlines sometimes show flexibility when you ask politely and mention your age and any specific circumstances. The magic phrase, "This was a controllable delay. I'd like the meal voucher and hotel accommodation your airline committed to on the DOT dashboard." Say it calmly. Say it factually. Have your boarding pass in your hand. And if the agent at the desk tells you nothing is available, ask to speak with a supervisor. Which brings us directly to perk number one. Perk number one. The federal referee standing behind every gate agent in America. Every U.S. airline is required by federal law to have a complaint resolution official, a CRO, available at every airport they serve, every single hour they operate, not a suggestion, a federal requirement. This is a person trained and authorized to resolve disputes about passenger assistance and airline compliance on the spot, not tomorrow, right now while you're standing at the gate. Wheelchair denied, pre-boarding refused. Medical equipment being charged a baggage fee you don't owe. Any of these situations, you have the right to request a CRO immediately. Most gate agents hear this request only a handful of times in their entire career. That tells you everything about how few passengers know it exists. Every other perk on this list is backed by policy and federal regulation. The CRO is the person whose job is enforcing that policy when the person at the counter doesn't follow it. Your appeal, your escalation, your referee. You don't use this over a fare dispute. You use it when a legal right gets denied. Ask calmly. Ask confidently. Because you are not making a request. You are invoking a protocol. The magic phrase. 4 words. I'd like to speak with your complaint resolution official, please. Watch the conversation change. After decades of flying and years of studying exactly how airlines handle passengers over 60, I can tell you one thing with complete confidence. These perks are not secrets. They are not loopholes. They are written into policy documents, federal regulations, and airline customer service plans that have been sitting there since before most of us bought our first rolling suitcase. Airlines aren't hiding them in a back room somewhere. They're hiding them in plain sight, counting on the fact that most travelers will board, sit down, and never ask a single question. You now have 11 reasons to start asking. Before your next flight, request the escort pass. If you're traveling with family, request mobility assistance when you book. Call the airline directly and ask for the senior fare. Order your special meal online tonight. Show up at the gate early and pre-board without apology. And if anything goes wrong, ask for the CRO by name. Which of these 11 perks genuinely surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one, and your stories help other travelers over 60 know exactly what to expect out there.